I'd really like to meet the jork who would go to a third world village, point out that they have contaminated drinking water as a result of their plumbing and sanitation methods, but then refuse to share with them the blueprints for the various water purifiers we have on the grounds that the technology might destroy them. And that's another example of stupid aliens, with the invasion options complete, or arguably hypocritical aliens or downright evil aliens. We all get the reason why handing people dangerous technology isn't such a good idea. The problem is the specific justification is pretty bad. I did not invent the atomic bomb, neither did you. Neither, in all likelihood, did the alien who shows up talking about how dangerous they are. We all three of us know how dangerous they are. Lots of sci-fi writers advance the too dangerous philosophy, but I can't recall any of them that were actual scientists, though I'd imagine some are. From my own anecdotal observations, the writers who tend to have strong science backgrounds generally think more science is good, even if it was acquired from aliens rather than invented by us. Probably because it occurs to them that it does not matter who discovered it, alien or human, because the other 7 billion humans did not. You do not have to be a physicist or optometrist to know better than to shine a laser pointer in people's eyes. And you do not have to have an advanced knowledge of viruses to know not to juggle fragile test tubes labeled Ebola over a concrete floor. The upshot of being a scientist is you are pretty much always surrounded by folks who use stuff from your field that you know they do not understand, and that you also used to not understand. And yet they all using it safely, and so did you back when you did not. That, and it makes you acutely aware of how many critical components of your own civilization operates using technology you don't even vaguely understand either. Or other aspects of knowledge. Not everything is technology. There probably are technologies all minds can't handle, but odds are neither could the original alien brains of that civilization, and they can handle them now because they cyborged up their brains, which would presumably work just fine for us, too. You certainly don't invade a planet for slave labor, not if your goal is actual labor anyway. That's what robots are for. If you just like conquering people and oppressing them because you're a bit of a Ming the Merciless or Emperor Palpatine sort, then yeah, it makes sense. Of course, you might stop by Earth because you need an army, and humans are aggressive and warlike, and your species is much too enlightened for that. I'm fairly sure removing the ability to defend yourselves from your species does qualify as stupid, especially if you went so far with it that you can't even make
Connected to iPhone.
all the aliens in ships the size of mountains, yet be dumb enough not to install antivirus software. So today we begin year 3 of Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur, and I am your host, the aforementioned Isaac Arthur. If you are If you are new to the channel, possibly having clicked on the somewhat clickbaity episode title of Stupid Aliens, there are a couple things you should know coming in. First, I do not have an accent. It is a speech impediment. I have problems pronouncing the letter R, as in rascally rabbits. For that reason, every episode includes closed caption subtitles you can turn on. Second, this channel does very in-depth looks at topics. The average runtime tends to be about 20 to 40 minutes, so it is usually a good idea to grab a drink and a snack beforehand. One of our major topics for this year is going to be contemplating and discussing what alien civilizations might be like. This is a tricky topic because there are not many things we can predict about alien civilizations, especially that would tend to be universal traits to all alien civilizations. We can say, for instance, that they are very likely to value knowledge, at least if they are technologically advanced spacefarers, because it is hard to travel in space without technology, a lot of it, and it is hard to have that without valuing knowledge. We can't be sure that would be a universal trait with no exceptions, but it ought to be a common one. Alternatively, there are a lot of things we can say ought to be uncommon, that we would not expect to encounter much in alien civilizations, basically because it's stupid. Sadly, we have an awful lot of these in science fiction. Aliens who are technologically advanced, but fundamentally stupid. The film Independence Day is a well-known example. Aliens smart enough to construct and maintain a massive interstellar fleet, but incapable of dealing with a simple computer virus. Now, to be fair, any solution to any alien invasion is going to have to be a head-scratcher that needs a lot of suspension of disbelief by the audience. Because there isn't one. If an alien armada shows up in orbit of Earth with the intent of killing us, especially if they don't care about preserving the ecology and can use a scorched Earth strategy, we will lose. Quickly, too. No ship able to get itself up to near light speed lacks the energy to just torch the surface of a planet, and any technology that allowed them to circumvent those energy needs would have a weaponizable component that permitted the same thing. Your typical interstellar craft ought to have energy supplies that let it shoot nukes at a planet like it was a machine gun. If they want the planet intact, they whack it with a targeted virus that just kills humans, or just dump tons of nerve gas down from orbit. So the writers have to take some liberties if they want to do a story about an alien invasion, unless it is intended to be a black comedy, and a short one at that. Unfortunately, we tend to absorb that. Folks don't realize it is flawed, or if they do, it still wriggles its way into the brain by repetition. Now, our focus today is not on invading Earth, but we will start with that. There are basically 4 reasons to visit Earth if you are aliens that I can think of, and here they are. Number 1, to talk with us and get to know each other. Number 2, to get our planet's raw materials. Number 3, to obliterate us. Number 4, to acquire things unique to Earth. Now, the first one, that they want to talk with us, we will look at next week in the First Contact episode. Though there are a lot of popular ideas for how that would go down that imply the aliens are pretty stupid too. Starting with the notion that after encountering them at random face-to-face, which ought to never happen, they'd misunderstand us and open fire. We'll do that next time, but just to continue the theme for today, if you are an advanced alien species, and you show up on a doorstep uninvited, hoping to have a conversation, the onus is on you to do some basic research first about language, customs, and psychology. We certainly would, and we broadcast tons of TV and radio they could listen to first. The second one is Earth's raw materials. Problem is that Earth does not have any raw materials that are not more abundant and more easily accessible elsewhere. Clearly, no one is going around strip mining our area of the galaxy, or we wouldn't be able to see planets around other nearby stars. Heck, we shouldn't be able to see any stars if they were doing that, considering what we looked at in the starlifting and Dyson dilemma episodes. There ought to be a chunk of the sky where there are very few stars, and some visibly disappearing in recent centuries, if someone is doing that and about to arrive here as the edge of an expanding sphere of mining activity. A few years back, the movie Oblivion came out, and it was a pretty decent film, but in that, the aliens had gone through an elaborate and unnecessarily stupid effort in order to get an even stupider prize. They were mining Earth for its water, sucking the oceans clean. Apparently for the hydrogen, which is even sillier since hydrogen is the most abundant thing in the universe. Earth is not the best place to get hydrogen from, as it has way less than the gas giants, and also a much steeper gravity well than all the comets and small icy bodies on the periphery of the solar system. Anyone who just needed that much hydrogen ought to be leaving behind a dark sky in its wake because they clearly want all of it. The same is true of any raw material, metals, oxygen, etc. Earth would not be your last stop to find those things, but there are so many better ones that you'd have to be a moron to come here before you exhausted all those other easier sources, and it would be blisteringly obvious if someone was doing that. It would be like people living in the Sahara Desert invading Australia to steal sand from their beaches. The third reason is to obliterate us, and that's actually the most logical. They don't care about our resources, they just want us dead. Maybe they don't want the competition for the galaxy and kill that off before it gets advanced. Maybe they just don't like us specifically. I already discussed how easy that is to do without ever landing, and we've talked about weapons before, like the Nitro-Dyson beam or relativistic kill missiles, that would make it so you didn't even have to come into the solar system, but could instead commit genocide from the comfort of your own homeworld. The last one, though, is that there is something unique about Earth they want, and that presumably needs to be life itself or something made by life. This is science, though, not a comic book, so Galactus isn't going to show up to suck out our life energy. We haven't got any. There's not going to be any space vampires that feed on humans, draining away their life essence and leaving them old withered husks. For the sake of fiction, we could assume maybe they want to eat our souls or something. I mean, I like to think I have a soul, that would be neat, but I have never seen much evidence for that, let alone anything definitive, and I'd really hate to get definitive evidence of that from Cthulhu showing up and saying he'd like to eat mine. As to non-supernatural options, what have we got? You can rule out that they want to eat humans. Even if their biochemistry allowed them to digest us, humans are an awful source of meat, and they could just grow us in a lab. I mean, if I were an alien species who developed a freaky fondness for the taste of people, I'd just ask for a sample of our DNA to help humanity research medicine, then use that to clone up some long pig back at my homeworld of Cannibala 3 in the gastronomy sector. Everything on Earth can be replicated, so you don't need to harvest people or cows or trees. You just come by and ask for 2 of every animal, or maybe a dozen or so for the genetic diversity. And you wouldn't need or want to keep them, just take a sample so you could get their DNA. You don't even need big freezer banks to store that in. Not that even a billion samples of DNA take up much space, because you could just record the sequence digitally and print it back home. Faster that way too. A digital recording of DNA can travel at light speed, a frozen sample cannot, and they are the same thing. Your DNA is not physical, any more than a book is. It is a sequence of information, whether it is on a hard drive, a paper printout, or a clay tablet. If you've got that, you can build yourself some rotating habitats back around some star of your own and fill them up with Earth life as a nature preserve. Or a farm, whatever your civilization is into. The same applies for art and literature, unless you've got some weird collector complex that requires you have the original copy of everything, or the only copy. You could just ask and we would give up copies of all of our music and TV and such. I suppose they might be coming by to obliterate our art, but even as bad as reality TV is, I have difficulty believing anyone would invade us just to destroy that. They could offer it in trade for technology, or just demand it at gunpoint, though the former would seem more logical. If you are a species that will spend centuries cruising to other planets to acquire their genetic diversity or art, it kind of implies you aren't the genocidal types. The other common one is they want to stop humanity destroying our own environment, which is usually based on insane troll logic. Humans damage our own environment mostly because we are trying to survive. We burn fossil fuels because we have nothing better. We knock over forests to grow food. There are not many people who get kicks out of damaging the environment, outside of the straw man villains from stuff like Captain Planet. In the 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, we get an example of that. They don't like how we treated our environment. Fair enough. Most of us don't either. And both their means of arrival and punishment are things whose very existence allows them to easily fix the problem. I would love to see some film or show sometime where the aliens show up, notice the environmental damage, and just shrug and say, yeah, we had the same problems. Here's some technology that will fix that. And if you've got samples from any extinct species, we can help you clone them back up too. If aliens show up here to lecture us on not burning fossil fuels, that had better be followed 5 seconds later by them saying, "Oh yeah, we also brought you blueprints for these easy-to-build fusion power plants, like the ones on our ship and back on our homeworld, Smugness 4 in the self-righteousness sector." Of course, this invokes the notion that they might not want to give us their technology because we are not ready for it yet and might destroy ourselves. Which seems like pretty strange logic when you have just shown up to express your dismay about how we are destroying ourselves already. I'd really like to meet the jerk who would go to a third world village, point out that they have contaminated drinking water as a result of their farming and sanitation methods, but then refuse to share with them the blueprints for the various water purifiers we have on the grounds that the technology might destroy them. That's another example of stupid aliens, with the invasion options complete, or arguably hypocritical aliens or downright evil aliens. We all get the reason why handing people dangerous technology isn't such a good idea. The problem is the specific justification is pretty bad. I did not invent the atomic bomb, neither did you. Neither, in all likelihood, did the alien who shows up talking about how dangerous they are. We all three of us know how dangerous they are. Lots of sci-fi writers advance the too dangerous philosophy, but I can't recall any of them that were actual scientists, though I'd imagine some are. From my own anecdotal observations, the writers who tend to have strong science backgrounds generally think more science is good, even if it was acquired from aliens rather than invented by us. Probably because it occurs to them that it does not matter who discovered it, alien or human, because the other 7 billion humans did not. You do not have to be a physicist or optometrist to know better than to shine a laser pointer in people's eyes. And you do not have to have an advanced knowledge of viruses to know not to juggle fragile test tubes labeled Ebola over a concrete floor. The upshot of being a scientist is you are pretty much always surrounded by folks who use stuff from your field that you know they do not understand, and that you also used to not understand. And yet they are using it safely, and so did you back when you did not. That, and it makes you acutely aware of how many critical components of your own civilization operates using technology you don't even vaguely understand either. Or other aspects of knowledge. Not everything is technology. There probably are technologies all minds can't handle, but odds are neither could the original alien brains of that civilization, and they can handle them now because they cyborged up their brains, which would presumably work just fine for us, too. You certainly don't invade a planet for slave labor, not if your goal is actual labor anyway. That's what robots are for. If you just like conquering people and oppressing them because you're a bit of a Ming the Merciless or Emperor Palpatine sort, then yeah, it makes sense. Of course, you might stop by Earth because you need an army, and humans are aggressive and warlike, and your species is much too enlightened for that. I'm fairly sure removing the ability to defend yourselves from your species does qualify as stupid, especially if you went so far with it that you can't even make robots to do your actual fighting for you. These are presumably the same aliens that huddle on their homeworld quietly for eons in a row. I could see that. An occasional answer to the Fermi paradox about where all the aliens are is that everyone is afraid that if they send out signals, some big bad space monster is going to come by and eat their homeworld. Not an unreasonable fear on face value, but quite stupid. As we discussed before, the cat is out of the bag about your civilization the moment you broadcast your first radio signals. There's no point being silent after that. If you are planning to build a secret bunker on the outskirts of town, it is not a good idea to use heavy machinery and dynamite in the excavation process. Nobody is going to miss you doing that or forget that you did. So you might as well build your civilization up so it can have a lot more scientists discovering a lot more fancy weaponry you can put on all your mini ships constructed around your mini planets and space stations. Of course, the genocidal aliens are always stupid too. I have no idea why they opt to linger in the dark spaces between solar systems and galaxies in the first place. I mean, beyond the obvious Lovecraftian overtones of scary ancient hungry monsters. If I had an enormous irresistible armada and was trying to destroy all life in the galaxy, I'd have them spend their free time swinging by planets every few million years to sterilize them. Or better yet, just cannibalize the planets to make more ships in my armada. I certainly would not wait for intelligence to develop, let alone radio signals. I mean, all those roads and canals and pyramids we built thousands of years ago already are quite visible from orbit. So if I did want to have my extermination fleet sleeping in between purges for some reason, I'd just park them around planets instead of the cold depths of space. or even on the planet, just waking up every few thousand years to eyeball their environment for signs of intelligence. I probably would put them to sleep in between exterminations, though. It would help to avoid their ethics mutating while they are sitting around with nothing to do but think about whether or not genocide was a good career choice. Pretty stupid hobby anyway. I'm never clear exactly why any of the critters want to wipe out all intelligent life. They obviously do not want all the raw materials in the galaxy for themselves. A full-blown, genuine galactic empire, a Kardashev 3 civilization, something we looked at last year, takes very little time to set up in the grand scheme of things, and definitely prevents new life arising on planets since by default you don't have any planets in a K3 civilization. I mean, to a K3 civilization, a planet just looks like a giant lumber store. It's not a place you live, it's a place you go pick up material to build places to live. And any given one of those trillions of planets in this galaxy has enough raw materials in it to construct not just a big ship for each solar system in the galaxy, but a pretty impressive fleet for each one. There is enough iron in Earth alone to make several 100 trillion aircraft carrier-sized ships. And you want big ships. That way you can include a robust IT department to prevent you from having your fleet destroyed by a computer virus made by a bunch of primitives who just invented computers in the last century. I am just going to skip over any examples of aliens who travel across the length of the galaxy for no other apparent purpose but to abduct people and probe their rectums. Perhaps proctology is a much more scientifically useful field than I assume. There's a few examples I want to save for next week's episode since they are great examples of stupid aliens, but specifically in forced contact situations, like the Minbari from Babylon 5, who apparently think the best approach to greeting people is to wave a gun around while shining a flashlight in their eyes, or the Buggers from Ender's Game, who apparently believed functioning spaceships were not a sign of intelligence. Both are explained as tragic misunderstandings that resulted in attempted genocide against humanity. We'll look at those next week. But one that comes to mind for today is aliens that wipe themselves out. I think the classic example of this is from The Forbidden Planet. This 1956 film helped make science fiction movies something other than the low-budget B movies they'd always been until then, and is still a great film even today, so if you haven't seen it, prepare for spoilers. The movie features an alien race, the Krell, or rather a machine they built, as they have gone extinct. From their own stupidity too, which is ironic, since they actually had a device that could boost intelligence. In spite of that, they built a giant machine that could give physical form to their very thoughts. Apparently, no one stopped to consider that our thoughts include a lot of very nasty subconscious demons and nightmares. The Krell were exterminated by their own subconscious thoughts in less than 24 hours. We get something similar from the most recent Superman reboot, The Man of Steel. I don't mean the invasion plot itself, of needlessly picking a fight with Superman and humanity when their giant terraforming machine ought to have worked just as well on Mars or Venus. I mean, nor am I surprised they could even build a terraforming machine, when in this incarnation of the destruction of planet Krypton, it was done by them overmining their own planet core till the planet exploded. I also have no idea how such a thing would be possible. Digging holes in a planet generally does not make them explode. Of course, maybe they had long since converted their home planet into a shell world, a concept we discussed early last year, but if they had, it shouldn't have been a civilization-ending event, since you only do something like that to supply raw materials for construction of a Dyson swarm, which kind of implies your home planet is just a very small, if very significant chunk of your solar system's population. You get similar examples with civilizations that wipe themselves out from cloning fatigue, as we saw happen to the Asgard in Stargate, or the Mariposans from Star Trek The Next Generation's episode Up the Long Ladder, one of the worst episodes of the series. Ignoring for the moment that it should not be tricky to keep original samples of DNA on ice or stored digitally to use to avoid copy fatigue, or even fix the problem after you have somehow ignored these options, you have to be pretty stupid not to see them coming right from the outset. My general notion is that any alien species that could be so stupid as to kill themselves off by any method that flat out guarantees extinction, and should be noticed as a problem by even a random 10-year-old, probably should be assumed not to exist. It is sort of like with War of the Worlds, pick your version, aliens again killed by viruses, only this time the old-fashioned biological kind. The only reason to land on a planet to attack it is if you want to keep the biology of the planet intact. rather than just nuking it from orbit till it glows in the dark. So you would think some consideration would be given to what that local biology might do to you. Ignoring that for the moment, I do wonder how they cross the vastness of space without having airtight spaceships and spacesuits that would presumably protect them from infection. Such being the case, I can only assume the Martian invaders occasionally took smoke breaks in the middle of the invasion and didn't want to smell up the air inside their war machines, so they went outside to light up. Okay, we will wrap up there. While obviously a lot of our examples today were decidedly over the top, in order to contemplate what we can know about alien civilizations, which includes what we can say they would not do, we need to rule out the incredibly stupid. By and large, anyway. Obviously, civilizations do often act in stupid fashions. Just look at us. The key point is that we always want to look at any cliché or stereotype about alien civilizations, and we will have more next week, and ask ourselves if it actually makes any sense, and if not, why we would expect them to do it, particularly if that expectation goes to include all civilizations, not just one or two that are being bloody-minded about it. Because for anything to be a common trait, let alone a universal one, among alien civilizations, it has to make a lot of sense, something we have discussed a lot in terms of exclusivity and non-exclusivity for the Fermi paradox. Next week, we will continue this forward by looking at possible forced contact scenarios with alien civilizations, both the first one we meet and from the perspective of it being their first meeting but not ours. To get alerts when that and other episodes come out, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like it and share it with others. And leave a comment or come join us over on the channel's Facebook group, Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur, to discuss the topic more. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great week. So today we are continuing our look at alien civilizations by discussing the concept of first contact with an alien civilization. This is much too broad a topic for just one episode, so we will be saving some concepts like language for future episodes. We will also be placing an emphasis today on a lot of the misconceptions of this idea from science fiction, continuing last week's theme of stupid aliens. How such a first contact scenario goes down will depend a lot on their own psychology, but we cannot know too much about that, just how certain qualities of the contact will impact logical actions. There are 9 ways I could think of in which we might encounter aliens, in general terms, and here they are. Number 1, we've already met them. They've been here before in the distant past, or are here now observing us or tinkering with our civilization. Number 2, we find their ruins. We encounter an extinct species and are sifting through their ruins. Contact is one way, us seeing them before they died. Number 3, we see signs of them from a distance. Life, especially intelligent life, tends to leave a lot of telltale signs it exists. Here there's no overt contact either way, but this is still contact, and it's probably the most likely form. Number 4, we encounter them in deep space. This highly improbable scenario is popular in sci-fi. This is our first example where live, two-way communication is possible, and probably the scenario most likely to result in violence, as the captain will be wondering why the ship is quietly approaching one of your planets. Number 5, we hear them by radio. We hear them or they hear us, and we have plenty of time to decipher the message and reply if we choose to. Number 6. By instant but distant communication.
I'll show it to you.
Unlike the former, if we assume some sort of faster-than-light or FTL means of communication, this is our second form that allows real-time communication, but does not appear to include danger or urgency, at least not at first glance. Number 7. We come to them. Here we find some species who either does not yet have spaceflight, or just doesn't much use it, which makes a big difference. Once more, real-time communication is possible. Number 8. We meet them through a third party. Probably one of the first questions you'd ask another alien civilization is if they know of anyone else. The answer could easily be yes, and you'd want the details about them, but would need to be worried about skewed perceptions or even outright lies. Number 9. They come to us. Our last one, though probably the most common in fiction, is that an alien ship comes to us and makes contact, peaceful or not. I tend to like to save this for last when discussing this topic, because so many of our misconceptions in regard to it come from not determining reasonable behavior in advance. Now, before we jump into these, we will make a few assumptions. We can't be sure about any of these, but they are all ones that ought to be true of nearly anyone we should encounter, and odds are that any exceptions will be few and far between, and we'd have met some other critters first who do follow our assumptions, in order to get some practice doing it right before meeting the oddballs. So what do we know? A given alien civilization was either designed by nature or by some intelligence. If the former, they will be inclined towards survival and pretty good at it. Evolution works on survival of the fittest, and is not gentle with those who are neither fit nor interested in survival. If the latter, people made by someone else, it would seem likely they'd include self-preservation as a desire too. If we created an artificial intelligence that was designed to operate on some task autonomously so that we weren't present, we would include some self-preservation motivation. This might vary from minimal self-preservation to extreme, a robot that will cheerfully perform a suicidal task, to one which would not even take a 1% chance of injury to save millions, but it will have something designed to preserve it. This could include organic life forms too, like a species created or modified heavily away from their natural form. Now, I don't include self-preservation or autonomy on my toaster, but that's because it is not meant to operate autonomously. It won't be making first contact with aliens. I will be, unless they visit my home and mistakenly assume it is the dominant intelligent life form. For today's purpose, we are assuming the aliens are not stupid though. That's our next assumption. They want to survive, and they are clever. Such being the case, they will not have identified my toaster as intelligent, and me not as intelligent. You just have to be monumentally dense to miss the signs that Earth has intelligent tool users on it. What with the radio and TV signals, satellites in orbit, and all those mysteriously square-shaped rocks and trees with glass windows in them, and wires and roads running to them. My toaster is not mobile. On first inspection, they could not distinguish it from my computer, microwave, or TV if it was off, and maybe they think it consumed bread. But my doorway size, its doorknob, all the handles and chairs and so on, including photos of friends and family on the walls, start to generate a picture. It's one thing to mistake a stone axe for a natural object. Stuff like the Giant's Causeway in Ireland can incorrectly look artificial too. But it's another thing to mistake a garage and all the tools and vehicles in it for natural. So we can assume aliens are intelligent if they have technology, and we will recognize technology. More accurately, we will recognize intelligence. Intelligence knows intelligence. At least any type which will have technology, since that implies curiosity and a value for knowledge, and a desire to use it to alter your environment to enhance survival. There may be exceptions to this, but I suspect not, for reasons we'll discuss in the future. Ditto, it is possible some species might evolve as natural spacefarers, around a collection of small moons for instance, but it is unlikely. So spacefaring means technology, and technology means they know math and science, which is the keystone of communication with them. To communicate with someone, you need shared concepts. The only universal concepts are things like math and basic physical principles, or things found universe-wide. So technological civilizations, especially those who can explore space, will be survival-oriented, smart, curious, and clever. They will also recognize technology and know it means intelligence made it. This brings up another stupid aliens moment from classic science fiction, and from one of the best authors who normally does aliens amazingly well. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card shows us an example of an accidental, violent.
Yo, he just talked about Ender's Game. I was waiting for him to say that shit, yo. Yo, so two of my favorite space dramas.
Close contact situations, science fiction, smart principles, or things found universe-wide. So technological civilizations, especially those who can explore space, will be survival-oriented, smart, curious, and clever. They will also recognize technology and know it means intelligence made it. This brings up another stupid aliens moment from classic science fiction, and from one of the best authors who normally does aliens amazingly well. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card shows us an example of an accidental, violent, forced contact situation between humanity and a race called the Buggers. In this case, the aliens arrive in our solar system and attack and board our spaceships, and kill crew members and eventually seriously damage China before their expedition is defeated. They send a second one too, which barely loses after a massive space battle in our solar system. Here's the thing. Afterwards, the realization comes that the Buggers never realized we were intelligent, because they really are hive mind entities who communicate telepathically. We could never talk to them because they simply have no concept for language. Yet the implication is that the Buggers didn't realize we were intelligent till after they failed to invade us twice, even though both times they encountered spaceships. It is not hard to distinguish a spaceship from a meteor at a distance, and certainly not when one is boarding one and murdering its crew. So why would one ever think something that was clearly a spaceship was not the product of a highly intelligent species? It is still a great book series, and one I highly recommend, and the author makes some attempt to fix that issue in later books. I suspect the mistake comes from him expanding a short story into that book as a pseudo-prequel to Speaker for the Dead, another great book which features quite clever aliens making another first contact screw up with us, which I won't spoil. So let us go through our list of 9 in order now, and consider what is significant about each. This begins with a case where we've already met them, but basically did not know it. A classic...
You want some good science fiction with alien contact, first alien contact, different civilizations trying to get along, different perspectives in time and all kind of shit, yo. Read the Ender's Game series by Orson Scott Card. He's from North Carolina, I think. They actually did a movie about it a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It had Harrison Ford was actually in that movie, Ender's Game. He played one of the captains on the ship. And I don't know, the movie was alright, but of course the books are always better. The books are always better. Yeah, but the whole time he's talking about stupid aliens and he's making all these references to different sci-fi authors and different futuristic people who come up with these concepts, and I'm like, so you're not going to talk about Ender's Game, because Ender's Game had like 3 different new races that the fucking human race met, yo. Like, you gotta talk about that if you're talking about meeting aliens for the first time, and he did. I knew he was gonna know about that shit, yo. That's why I like listening to Isaac Arthur, yo. He be up on all kind of sci-fi shit. But Your painting still is just the underpainting right now. So it's drying, as a matter of fact. It is dry to the touch. Yep, it's dry to the touch. So all you gotta do is just make time to start working on the second layer and start filling in some of the shadow areas, and adding a more true skin tone to it. No, you don't see any vagina here, and you need to watch what you say, because I might block you. Because the young lady is actually in the stream, so let's not be disrespectful, okay? Thank you in advance, because I will block the shit out you. Yes, it's looking nice. I'm gonna really enjoy finishing this piece. And there's still a chance I'm gonna do that other one as well, the one in the tub. I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna put it in my sketch pad or if I'm gonna put it on another canvas. Yeah, Dizzle, that's MB. She is so pretty, right? And such a great sport and such a great friend for helping me with my project, and keep it so I can be able to keep my art moving. And this is the first series of nudes I've ever painted, so it is kind of hard to get models because I don't have any material to actually show them. Like, see, I already did some nudes. I just want to do more, So, but now I have a few of them, and they look nice, and they're all tastefully done. They're not raunchy. They're not like over the top, trying to overly sexify the women or anything like that. They're just beautiful, confident women, in their birthday suits, just being natural and being themselves. And I think it's going to come out nice. And so maybe in the future, if I want to do another series of nudes, it'll be easier for me to acquire different models, because they can actually look through my catalog and see some of the beautiful portraits that I already produced. So, but I'm about as legit as it get. I know how I look. I know. Don't judge a book by its cover, but we always do, and it's a bad habit that we all have. I know. And I get judged a lot by how I look. I get judged a lot by how I talk, because I know I don't sound halfway intelligent. But sometimes, believe it or not, I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. So it's a bit much to take in for most people. But when they do, like, absorb Travis as a person, and then a lot of people say that same thing, like, bruh, you're actually legit. Like, I know, it's like they get that scratching moment, like, this nigga really an artist. I know, but I'm funny to myself though. That shit, I be cracking myself up. Oh yeah, way in the future, man. Give yourself some time to save up, bruh. Like, give yourself some time to save up. You need to save up 2 income tax checks, and then come holler at me. Cause this year, 2018, man, I'm about to push some new shit, different platforms, and try to really start setting up digital stores. I'll probably get a couple of my more popular images. And get like some signature prints done. Do like a series of 10 or 15 collective prints for some of my more popular paintings, and try to push a digital store, and still look for an outside gallery or studio, because my home studio is getting too tight for me. That's what it is, yo. That's what it is. Yeah, so I have working on this painting. Then I got the painting of MV. Then I got the painting of my man Danny Two Scoops. Then I still got one more other painting that goes into the new series of my homie Tasha. Then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got about 5 or 6 other projects coming up from different photographers and models I'm working with in different states. Kind of like how MB helped me out because we live in different states. So she did all her own photography and everything and just got the photograph to me. And there's a couple people who are actually being really helpful right now and just like giving me source material. Like, here, paint that shit. Here, you want something? Here, paint that too. And I'm like, yeah, because they got some dope ass images.
Staple of sci-fi is that aliens walk among us, or used to back in the old days. What their motivation for doing this activity might be varies a lot. Maybe they're plotting a takeover, maybe they're teaching us to build pyramids, maybe they're doing some anthropology. I figure the assumption of curiosity in technological species makes anthropology a common field for their own past.
Oh yeah. And I just try to motivate everybody else to do what the fuck you love too, man. This life too goddamn short. You gotta find a way to make it happen some kind of way. Somehow you gotta do what you actually enjoy doing. And yeah, MB, I definitely if not an original, I'll definitely get you a nice size print and get that to you. Ooh wee. She said she on vacation. Cause she told them motherfuckers to shove it. You can take this job and shove it, bitch. All right, did a little work on the shoes a little bit. I think I'm gonna get my knife out and try to work on the bricks. J bro, you don't understand, J bro. How that's not? I mean, how that's not hitting right? I don't understand. I don't know what you don't. Yo, my man Henry. Oh damn. You don't understand. They don't hit right, son. You don't see how bright the cherry burn. This shit is. I don't know, man. It's the art. 100% organic hemp. 100% organic, man. Or you can use a water pipe. You talking goofy motherfucker. Dutchess. Oh, that cause you be smoking. Oh, you know who still smoke Dutchess? People who have to pick seeds out of their marijuana. He got that big ass Dutch leaf. That shit look like a damn. That shit look like a big ass piece of cardboard. He that goddamn flicking motherfucking seeds out that bitch, pulling up a big ass stem, trying to finger grind that little piece of leaf off of that shit, and then roll that husky ass Dutch leaf and light that bitch and don't taste nothing but cigar. That's it. The whole blunt tastes just like cigar. Damn, Dutch nigga still smoke Dutch Masters. You so it's 2018, bro. You still smoking Dutch? You picking seeds on your shit? Talking about, man, it's some mid. What the fuck is that shit? That shit look like some motherfucking brick pack Mexican. That shit look like 1997, bro. What the hell wrong with you, man? Blunts. Smoking blunts. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Come on, man. At least say a cigarillo, a rap, or something. This motherfucker said Dutch. Now you might as well go ahead and just roll you some backwoods. You know what you do? You get you some brick pack Mexican, right? You pick all your seeds and all your stems out that shit, right? And then you roll that shit in the goddamn Optimo, right? And then you take that Optimo and then you roll that shit inside a Philly blunt, right? And then you take that Philly blunt and then you roll that shit inside of a Dutch Master, right? And then you take that Dutch Master and then you roll that shit inside of a backwood, right? And you just smoke all the cigars you want at once. J Bro said, nigger, bye. Oh, damn. That's crazy, bro. It's all good, man. That motherfucker say J.O. Reggie smoking. I got that presidential. You got that Bush. You got that Reggie Bush. that Reginald. You smoking raw? Them shits don't hit right. Cause it don't taste like you smoking a handful of goddamn pine chocolate. Hey, motherfucker think only blunts taste right. Cause it tastes like you like you just lit a whole bush on fire. You know. Hey, in the fall, in the autumn time, all the leaves fall off the ground. You gotta go outside in the hot heat. You gotta rake up all the leaves out the yard. And some people, if you live far enough outside the city limits and your leaves get in the big ass pile, you burn that shit, right? You just put something on, you just burn your leaves. That's what Dutch Masters tastes like. Motherfucker smoking on a damn pile of goddamn burning leaves. Some motherfucking oak leaves and shit. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie though. Listen, personally, I would not lie to you, bro. Back in the day, I go to the store, I get me a box of Dutches, bro. The red and white box of Dutch, just the original Dutch Master. I get my little satchel. Man, I go to the crib, right? I break down the whole joint. There were 4 of them. There were four blunts in one box. Break down all them bitches. Roll them real nice and put them right back in the box. Now I got me a whole box already rolled up. Then I'll go get me, I get all that shit all at the same time. You'll get me some Dutches, some Black & Milds, and some Newport. Because I was a little smoking motherfucker, man. I'll roll all my Dutches, put them back in the box. Then I'll get my Black & Milds, I'll freak them. If you real smokers know what freaking a Black & Mild is, take the cancel paper out. I don't know if that's what it really called, but that's what we call it. But you gotta take the cancel paper out. So I freak like 2 Black & Milds, put them back in the box. And I have my Newports. And I hit the town rolling in my goddamn Ford Taurus. But then I grew up, man. That's just like, how some kids like wrestling? And then you see a real UFC fight, and then you realize wrestling is fake. And then you grow up and you don't really watch wrestling no more. And then you watch UFC and boxing. That's kind of like blunts. See, blunts is okay, it's nice, but then you smoke out of a water pipe or a bubbler a Raw, and then it's like, oh, I'm mature now. You know, but then you still got some grown ass people who just still like watching wrestling. Got to be the wood tip. I'm smoking a black right now. The cherry ones. Oh, the wine? Oh, yeah, the wine ones. Dude is mad. But you still watching me, Jay? Damn, you made one little corny ass comment and I ripped you one and now you upset. And I ain't even no real comedian. You know what I'm saying? This is an art show. This ain't even supposed to be no stand-up show. But you said some dumbass shit. So next time, if you go into somebody's screen and you want to say some dumbass shit, just be prepared for the repercussions. Because some motherfuckers might be funny and have everybody laughing at your ass. Oh, damn. That's all it is, bruh. You good, man. Oh, he's so upset. My man is upset. Bruh, cause I got more pipes and bongs and bubblers. Got my pretty blue one. Ooh. With the wide raws. Ooh. I got my little John right there. Then I got my pretty psychedelic color one. You know what I'm saying? I got some replacement parts just in case I need that. I got replacements for them. That. I got my little one here. Ooh. And then I got the big blue one. Ooh. Ooh. Then got my little trusty mid-size one I use for playing video games. Ooh, why? Cause I smoke, bruh. And you know what? The shit I smoke tastes so good. It's so flavorful. I'm not gonna wrap my shit in no damn Dutch. And have my shit tasting like I'm smoking a pile of leaves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna wrap my tasteful ass buds in no damn stanky ass Dutch paper no more. Several longs. Got a couple of them because I like them. and I roll raws with the little tips. So that way, cause like when you smoke your little Dutch Masters, when you be smoking the Dutches, right? You ain't got no tip on it. So you be smoking that shit all the way down to the roast. That shit be burning your damn hands. Motherfuckers burn their lips and shit, all kinds of trying to get that last little piece of weed out. But if you have a tip on it, you can smoke all the way down there and then you don't burn yourself, man. It's just easy. It's more adult-like. You know, like some people got to get grown up around this shit. You a retard. But let me ask you this. So if someone calls your phone right now, and tells you to describe to them what are you doing, who's going to sound more retarded, me or you? oh, I'm watching this dude online. I'm sending him messages and I'm calling him a retard. Why are you doing that? Oh, because he's just talking about me. He's making fun of me, so I'm making fun of him, calling him names and stuff. Yeah, but why don't you just turn the channel or just like turn the TV off or something? Oh, let me call you right back. I'm just fucking with you now, dude, because you still carrying on with it. That's what's making it so funny, man. You making it funny, not me. It ain't even me making it funny no more. I'm just the most entertaining thing you got going for yourself as of right now. You ain't got nothing more entertaining than me. Cause I swear to God, the last time you watch any other TV show, when you watch motherfucking The Real Husbands of Hollywood, or the last time you watch motherfucking NBC Sports Night or whatever, you can't type and talk and text in them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that same shit. But when you come to my TV show, when you come to my channel, you like, oh shit, let me tell this motherfucker what I think. So this is better than any other thing you ever watch, you know, because I know you be watching some other shit, motherfuckers be yelling at the TV, oh, the monster around the corner, stop, but they can't hear you. And so it's like, I wish they could hear me. And you come to my channel and I can hear you, bro. I hear you. And you like that shit. That shit make you feel like you're a part of something, doesn't it? Because I'm actually responding to you personally, Jay. I'm responding to you personally, bro. And that makes you somebody. That means you're real because I'm acknowledging you. What? Did I stream an argument? When, yesterday? Oh, I don't know. There was some argument yesterday I did stream. That was a corny argument, though. Over video games. I really hate guys who get upset over video games, yo. It's like, dude, we're playing a game. You keep fucking dying. No, I'm not. I'm talking to you. I died in the game, but I'm really here. Listen, you hear my voice? I'm still here. I'm not dead. But, man, it's the fucking game. It's a game. It's a game. And you can die a million times and nothing happens in real life. Just calm down, dude. Just calm down. Oh, didn't he start the argument? Oh, no, Jay, hey, Jay left. Oh, I think we got the best of Jay. Too much for him? He'll be alright. I'm sure that he will. I'm sure he'll be alright. Maybe. He might be alright. I don't know, cause he was kind of touchy. Cause I said he got seeds in his weed, and he still smoke Dutch Masters. You do what? What? This nigga? This is not 1997, bruh. What are you talking about? Dutch Masters. You don't smoke nothing but Dutches. Hit that shit, start coughing like a bitch. That's where all that coughing and shit be coming from, man. You don't need to be coughing like that, bruh. That's that tobacco. I don't smoke no cigarettes, though. I don't smoke no cigs, man. Them cigs crazy. But you smoking damn a Dutch? Bitch, that's like smoking 3 cigarettes right there. You smoke 1 Dutch, that's like 3 cigarettes. Damn. Not at all. Not at all. Dizzle, don't make me ban you, man. Damn, see? That's what I be talking about, man. You just like all my homies in high school who try to be cool with me, who try to be friends with me, and then be like, yo, let me stay the weekend at your house. I'm like, alright, yeah, you stay the weekend at my house. Then be like, yo, Trap, hook me up with your cousin. Nigga, is this why you want to be my friend? So you can get with my cousins? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, get out of here. Damn. They gonna ask me some. Yo, Trap. Yo, give your sister my phone number. Man, I'm not giving nobody. What? Do what? Get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck wrong with you, man. Damn. Always try to use me as the middleman. I don't play that shit, bruh. How about not? How about we not slide in somebody's DM? Send me a message. I'll tell you something. Send you some pictures. Now I'm fucking with you, Dizzle. Don't you start getting serious neither and get your feelings hurt, man. I tell you. That's the worst thing though. Like, I got an older sister. She's 2 years older than me, and I got like fucking 18 first cousins. Man, yo, my grandma had 9 kids, so I got a lot of aunts and uncles, and everybody got kids. Like, I got a lot of first cousins, yo, but there's only like 4 boys, and all my other cousins are girls, yo, and a lot of us are the same fucking age. Like, all of us was in high school together. That shit used to be like week after week, yo. Yo, hook me up with your cousin Shonda. Hook me up with Chrissy. Hook me up with Nikki. Hook me up with Tina. Hook me up with Tyria. I'm like, yo, man, go holler at them for yourself, yo. Oh my God, like every other week somebody is trying to get with somebody in my fucking family, yo. There's just so many goddamn girls in my family. That shit is ridiculous, yo. Ridiculous. But it's all good. But man, I need to get back on this art. I need to paint for like 30 more minutes or so. Then I'm gonna go play some video games. I got one more day off tomorrow, and it's leg day again. Shit. I gotta get up early in the morning and do some squats. Uh-oh. That's where you hit one of them like, yes. Hell yeah. Oh, shit. All right. So what I want to do is the bricks. Oh, those bricks need to get lightened up. And they're gonna be like oranges, a light oranges, swishes. Let me see. It's a really palish, really pale orange. It's gonna be like orange and Naples yellow and white. Fuck yes. Fuck yeah. Thank you. That's why I stash shit. I know stashing shit always comes in handy. Yes. Yes. Fuck yes. Right on motherfucking time. Who's smart? I'm a subtle genius. I'm a really smart guy and a subtle genius. You know why? Because I stash shit for rainy days. I stash it so hard, I forget that I have it until I don't have anything, and then I'm looking for something, and then boom, stash spot. And you just chilling. Bitch, I stay up all night. I ain't wake up till 11:30 today. You know what? I ain't gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, I ain't even getting dressed. I just stayed in my house clothes all day and watched TV. Shit. Ooh. Yeah, house closed. Chillin' all day in my house closed. House closed. And I'm chillin' all day in my house closed. House closed. And I'm chillin' all day. I wasn't gonna bust a freestyle, but I already felt like that shit was gonna be corny as hell. Let me get back to my paint. Dude got mad because I laughed at the fact that he smoked blunts. You got a cat? Just picked up a cat. Just like, yeah, I need an animal in my life. Chihuahua was the first dog I ever had, yo. My aunt had well, one of my great aunts, my grandmother's sister, had full blood Chihuahuas that she used to breed, yo. Like it was weird, like she used to just breed and sell like these little cute ass Chihuahuas. And so of course, like when I was old enough to have a dog, that was the first dog that I had was like a fucking a $900 fucking Chihuahua. I'm like, how these little dogs cost so much? Oh, they cost so much because they are little. That don't make no fucking sense, yo. Like, I want a dog, like a big dog. No. We want to have something in the house. We want a house dog. I want a Doberman. No. You can't have no Dobermans. Fuck this little Chihuahua. And then I used to love my Chihuahua, yo. And then my cousin poisoned my dog, yo. Like, I don't know, he had worms or something. I don't know, man. I used to feed him scraps and stuff. And he got worms. And so we had a medicine for him. And then one of my little cousins came over and she was like, I don't know, I was young as shit. And she was younger than me. And she was staying a weekend at the house or something. I forgot how she was there for so long for whatever reason, but she saw me give my dog the worm medicine with his food. And then I explained to her what it was for. And somehow, like, when nobody was looking, like, she just fed him the whole box of medication or some shit and OD'd the dog. And we was like, well, why you gave him all the pills? She was like, so he can get better faster. If he eats all of it now, he'll be better faster. And we was like, nah, don't worry like that. You just OD'd my dog, yo. Oh, damn, word. Mm-hmm. I had a good dog. My last dog was a nice ass dog, yo. She was a little mutt, but she was smart as shit, yo. She was a bulldog Labrador mix. Man, smart ass fucking dog. Probably the smartest dog I ever had, yo. But I had to move in a rush, and where I was going, I couldn't take her, and I was like, fuck, I'm stuck. Like, damn, I fucked that shit all the way up. And so off the top, I was stuck with like not having nowhere for my little dog. I was like, damn, yo, I had to give her to the fucking shelter. And I told her like I already had a house broken. She had several commands down pat. Yo. I was like, just make sure this dog right here gets a good home, yo, because she's smart, yo. Ooh, boy. actually love using these knives now. You know, this shit is so nice. Oh wow, that was actually still pretty wet. Amazing. Still able to kind of ride it out just now though. I gotta stop that. Well. Let's see how long we can endure this awkward silence. Okay, let's ready, set, go. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Shit. And this light is fucking it all up. Oh well. It is what it is. Oh, I'm almost at an hour and a half anyway. I was only going to stream for a little while anyway, guys. I just really wanted to get those details on that shoe because I did the one shoe earlier today. But I already made it to this part right here where I'm trying to add some of these highlights to the bricks. Oh, y'all don't like that awkward silence? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to make a different color, a little bit darker for those. For some of them. Alright, I'm out of here. Oh. Don't break that shit, man. Appreciate everybody watching. Peace. Until next time. Oh. What's up? Bye. Sure, they're gonna be nice. Peace. Till next time.